In this episode of What's Working Now, we are going to talk about how the richest 1% of the population controls 48% of total wealth, and the top 80 wealthiest individuals are worth as much as half of the world's population, or approximately 3.5 billion people. When these figures are considered, there is no doubt that there is a disparity between the rich and the poor. While many people believe these wealthy individuals became wealthy by being born into wealth or winning the lottery, this is simply not the case. In fact, only 11 of the 80 richest people had their fortunes passed down to them, with the remaining 69 having amassed their wealth through their own hard work and determination. One of these 69 people is none other than the investor himself, Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, like the majority of these wealthy individuals, grew up in a middle-class family but managed to acquire the knowledge and skills that would eventually lead to him amassing a fortune of over $70 billion. We've all seen people living in excess and others living on next to nothing, but have you ever stopped to consider what truly separates the rich from the poor? Sure, the obvious answer is that the wealthy have significantly more money than the poor, but I'm talking about reasons other than money. When you think about it, a rich person and a poor person can both live in the same city, have access to the same jobs, and only have 24 hours a day, but one can be living paycheck to paycheck while the other has more money than they could spend in their entire lifetime. So, what truly distinguishes someone who will amass billions of dollars in their lifetime from someone who will struggle financially for the rest of their lives? So, using our rich friend John and our poor friend Tim as examples, I'll explain what makes the two different so you can adopt these rich person habits and achieve financial prosperity in your own life. Before we begin, it is important to note that John and Tim have similar IQs, come from middle-class families, and live in the same city. In short, neither man has an advantage over the other, despite the fact that their bank accounts are on opposite ends of the financial spectrum. It's Monday afternoon, and John and Tim are both on their way home from work. Tim goes over to his couch, turns on Netflix, and binge-watches hours of mindless TV to numb himself from his long work day. While Tim's boss advised him to read more books in order to increase his chances of promotion this year, Tim is too busy, especially now that a new season of his favorite show has begun. When John gets home from work, he immediately logs into his computer to begin studying. John spends hours reviewing his notes for his upcoming exam. While John already has a master's degree and several designations, he continues to put in a few hours every night to work towards another accreditation that will help him move up the corporate ladder more quickly. Indeed, John recently discovered that one of his idols, Dan Lok, invests more than $500,000 per year in continuous learning. If millionaires are investing that much time and money in learning new things, John believes he should as well. As a result, the first distinction between the rich and the poor is that the rich never stop learning. The next day at work, Tim's boss begins awarding bonuses to all employees. When Tim opens his envelope, he discovers that he has received a $100 bonus, which is significantly less than his peers. Tim complains to his boss, stating that he has been with the company for 10 years and that this is an embarrassing bonus to have received. His boss goes on to say that Tim never stays late to help his team and that his productivity has been decreasing year after year since he started. John is working on his current project at work across town when his boss approaches him. His boss hands him an envelope, which he opens to reveal a $10,000 check in his name. John is astounded and grateful for the generous bonus. John's boss goes on to explain that John has been putting in a lot of hours recently and that his last project saved the company $1 million in operating expenses, so this was the least they could do to recognize his efforts. As a result, the second difference is the rich sale value and the poor sale time. Tim is counting down the days until his payday on Thursday of the following week. He rushes to the bank as soon as his boss hands him his biweekly check and begins making payments to all of his creditors. He pays his landlord, his hydro company, and, of course, his monthly income tax installment. As the month comes to an end, Tim decides to calculate how much money he has saved. As he checks his balance, he notices that he has not only not saved any money but that his account is now lower than it was a month ago. Tim is unsure where all of the money could have gone. When John is paid, $500 is deducted automatically and deposited into a savings account that he cannot access. After ensuring that his savings are fully funded for the month, John makes his mortgage payment, pays his utility company, and pays his monthly income tax installment to the government. At the end of the month, John smiles as he notices that his bank balance has increased, making him even richer than he already is. As a result, difference number 3 is that the wealthy pay themselves first while the poor pay themselves last. Tim is watching TV one night after work when he notices an advertisement for a new high-definition television that is about to be released. Tim can only afford to spend $1,000 on entertainment devices for the entire year. Tim is thinking about buying this while also wanting to buy the new PlayStation that just came out, but at $500, he can't afford both. Tim mopes, wishing his boss didn't stink and had given him a bigger bonus so he could buy both. After passing his exam, John decides to reward himself for his efforts by purchasing a new gaming system and television. John, too, has a $1,000 budget for his purchase, but he really wants both the new state-of-the-art TV and PlayStation console. Instead of choosing between the two, John wonders how he can have both. John decides to take on a side consulting project to earn the $500 he needs to cover the cost of the PlayStation and build himself the ideal gaming setup to commemorate his major achievement. As a result, difference number 4 is that the wealthy have a growth mindset, whereas the poor have a fixed mindset. Tim dreads going to work every day, so grabbing a Frappuccino from Starbucks has become a part of his morning routine. Tim knows he couldn't make it through a few hours at work without his sugary latte, so he's more than willing to pay $5 per day for his morning caffeine fix. John, on the other hand, walks right past Starbucks every day, and instead of purchasing an expensive latte, he drinks the free coffee provided at work. Sure, the coffee isn't as good as a Starbucks drink, but he believes that saving $5 per day on coffee is well worth it. John, you see, has been saving $5 per day for a year and now has $1,500 to spend on an all-inclusive trip to Mexico with his friends. John also understands that delaying gratification helps him embody the characteristics of his wealthy peers, as he discovered while reading a Temple University study. The study ranked the most important determinants of affluence. Occupation, education, location, and gender ranked first, but delaying instant gratification outperformed many more traditional signals, such as age, race, ethnicity, and height. Researchers believe that a person's ability to envision larger future rewards makes them less likely to succumb to short-term pleasures, which is why turning down a daily latte was simple when he imagined all the fun he would have on the beach in Mexico with his friends. As a result, difference number 5 is that the rich understand the power of deferring gratification, whereas the poor seek immediate gratification. As the economy begins to deteriorate, many businesses begin to lay off workers as a cost-cutting measure. Tim gets a note from his boss one afternoon while sitting at his desk, scrolling through Facebook and doing the bare minimum to keep his job. "Please hand in your laptop and badge at the front desk, we are letting you go," the message says. Tim begins to panic as he considers how he will pay his rent and bills now that his sole source of income has vanished. Tim had always assumed that being an employee meant having job security, and after being fired, he began to wonder if this long-held belief had been incorrect. Unfortunately for John, his boss also fires him. In an exit interview, John's boss talks for an hour about what a great worker he is and how he let go of all other employees before finally letting John go. John accepted his fate graciously, thanking his boss for the opportunity and assuring him that he would be fine financially. Because John understood that no job is secure, he began building an online business and contributing to a dividend stock portfolio as soon as he entered the workforce, which is now established enough to keep him afloat until he finds another job. As a result, the difference in number 6 is that the wealthy create multiple income streams while the poor rely on only one. Tim is at home about a week after being laid off, moping with his other losers about how bad the economy is and how difficult it will be to find another job. They continue to complain about how unfair life has been to them and how they would be wealthy if they had gotten the same lucky breaks as others. John invites his close friends over for dinner the evening after he is let go. While the group is eating, John explains that he has been let go by his company due to the difficult economic times but assures his friends that his other sources of income will more than support his current lifestyle. One friend enthusiastically suggests that John join his construction company and offers him an executive position. Another friend joins in and asks John if he wants to start a consulting firm with her because the two have worked so well together in the past and could quickly become one of the city's leading firms. As a result, the rich surround themselves with other rich people, whereas the poor surround themselves with other broke people. To summarize, the rich never stop learning, they sell value rather than time, they pay themselves first, they have a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset, they harness the power of delaying gratification, they build multiple streams of income, and finally, they surround themselves with other rich people. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one. The 9 wealthiest men in the world are Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Amancio Ortega, Mark Zuckerberg, Bernard Arnault, Carlos Slim, Larry Ellison, and Larry Page. This means that if you put these 10 gentlemen on one side of the wealth scale, or seesaw, if you prefer, you'd need a good 4 billion of the world's poorest on the other side to balance it out. Thank you, guys, so much for watching. If you like this video or think it would benefit a friend or someone else, please share it. Also guys, please do me a favor and click on the bell icon and enable notifications if you're a subscriber. If you're not well, welcome to the channel and I hope you do subscribe and enable notifications. With that said, thanks for watching and I'll see you at the next one.